very urgent. Your soulmate just made a final decision about you. And what they're about to do next will surprise you. My beloved child, something has shifted in a way you never expected, and the person connected to your heart is no longer standing where they stood before. A final decision has been made about you, but the most surprising part is not the decision itself, it is what they are preparing to do because of it. For so long, they have been carrying thoughts they could not explain, replaying moments connected to you, wondering whether they should move closer or remain silent. But something inside them has finally changed. The uncertainty that once held them back is beginning to disappear. And if you think you already know what they decided, don't skip, because there is one detail you have not heard yet. One detail changes the entire meaning of what is happening. They realize that what they feel cannot simply be pushed aside and forgotten. The more they tried to ignore this connection, the more powerful it seemed to become in their thoughts. And now they have reached a point where remaining exactly where they are no longer feels possible. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and their next move may be completely different from anything you imagined. But here is where everything becomes even more surprising. Their final decision was not made in one sudden moment. It grew quietly through memories, unanswered questions, and small realizations they kept to themselves. There was a moment when they remembered something about you that seemed ordinary at first, yet it changed the direction of their thoughts. They began seeing your connection differently. They started asking themselves why your presence remained so powerful even during silence, why certain memories kept returning, and why imagining their future somehow kept bringing their thoughts back to you. Then came the realization they could no longer avoid. They did not want this story to remain unfinished. Don't skip now, because this is where the decision begins turning into action. Instead of waiting endlessly for the perfect moment, they are thinking about doing something that makes their intentions clearer. Something more meaningful than another hidden thought. Something that could finally reveal what they have been unable to express. And there is another layer to this that makes it even bigger. Their decision is not based only on emotion. They have been thinking seriously about what having you in their future could actually mean. That is why what comes next could surprise you, and now the biggest revelation begins to surface. Your soulmate's final decision is leading them toward a choice they once believed they were not ready to make, to stop hiding behind uncertainty and move toward clarity. They may have spent a long time questioning whether this connection could become something deeper, but those questions are beginning to turn into determination. They are imagining the conversation they never had, the words they never said, and the possibility of finally showing you that their feelings have changed into something far more serious. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What they are preparing is not simply about getting your attention, it is about changing the direction of this connection. And the once-in-a-lifetime twist is this: while you may have wondered whether they were slowly moving away, they were actually reaching a decision that could bring them closer than before. The silence was not necessarily the ending you imagined. It may have been the space in which they finally understood what they truly wanted. And now that understanding is pushing them toward their next move. Don't skip, because what happens after this decision could reveal the one thing you have been waiting to understand, and once that truth becomes clear, you may never look at this connection the same way again. Something changed inside your soulmate the moment they finally accepted what their heart had been trying to tell them, and now there is a completely different energy surrounding their next move. They are no longer asking themselves whether you matter to them. That question has already been answered. Now they are asking something much bigger: what am I going to do about this? And that is exactly where the story becomes surprising. Don't skip, because the decision you heard about was only the beginning. There is another choice forming behind it, and this one could bring everything into the open. Your soulmate has been thinking about the distance, the silence, the moments when something meaningful could have been said but remained unspoken. They have replayed those moments more times than you might imagine. But instead of allowing those memories to push them away, something unexpected happened. They began realizing how much they still wanted a future in which you were not simply a memory. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are beginning to understand that if they continue waiting, they could lose the opportunity to show you what you truly mean to them. That realization has created a new determination. They want clarity, they want the unanswered questions between you to finally have answers. And most importantly, they want you to understand that their final decision was not about closing this chapter. It was about deciding whether they were finally brave enough to begin a completely different one. Now listen closely, because this is the detail that changes everything. Your soulmate may be preparing to reveal something they have deliberately kept hidden. Not because they wanted to confuse you, but because they were trying to understand it themselves first. Their feelings became deeper than they expected, and admitting that meant admitting that you had become important in a way they could no longer treat casually. They started imagining what would happen if they stopped holding back. What if they finally spoke honestly? What if they showed you through their actions that you were not just another passing thought? Don't skip here, because the next realization is the one that could turn this entire story around. Your soulmate has reached the point where doing nothing feels harder than doing something. That is powerful because it means the hesitation that controlled them before is losing its grip. They are considering a meaningful step, one that could make their intentions impossible to misunderstand. And there is something else: they want this next move to feel different. Not rushed. Not empty. Not temporary. They want it to carry meaning because they know this connection deserves more than half-hearted effort. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the most surprising revelation is still ahead. The person who once questioned everything may now be quietly preparing to show you exactly where they stand, and this is where their final decision becomes impossible to ignore. Deep inside, they have chosen to stop treating this connection like something that can simply be left to chance. They want to know what could happen if they finally give it the attention it deserves. They are thinking beyond one conversation, beyond one emotional moment, beyond one temporary gesture. They are thinking about consistency, closeness, and whether the two of you could build something more meaningful than what existed before. Something about you has stayed with them through every doubt, and that is what finally changed their perspective. Don't skip, because the once-in-a-lifetime revelation is this: the next thing they want to do may not be what anyone around them expects. Instead of walking away from what they feel, they are considering moving directly toward it. They want to replace uncertainty with an answer. They want to replace silence with honesty. And they want to find out whether the future they keep imagining could actually become real. Something huge is waiting for you, because one final piece of their decision has not yet been revealed. It concerns what they truly see when they imagine you beside them in the future, and when that piece comes forward, everything you thought you understood about their feelings could suddenly become much clearer. There is one thought your soulmate has been unable to silence, and it is becoming stronger every time they imagine what their future could look like without you in it. They have begun to realize that this connection was never as simple as they once tried to make it seem. Something about you stayed with them. Your energy, your presence, the way certain memories return when they least expect them, these things have quietly changed the way they see everything. Don't skip, because what they finally admitted to themselves is much bigger than simply missing someone. They realized they do not want to keep wondering what could have happened between you. They want to know. They want an answer. And that desire is becoming powerful enough to influence their next move. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has started imagining a moment where there are no more hidden feelings, no more guessing, and no more pretending that this connection means less than it actually does. The surprising part is that they once believed waiting would make their feelings disappear. Instead, waiting made them understand those feelings more clearly. Now they are reaching a completely different conclusion. Perhaps the reason they could never fully move beyond this connection is because there is still something important left to discover. And what they are considering doing next could finally bring that unanswered possibility directly into the light. A completely unexpected realization followed that thought. Your soulmate began looking back at the smallest moments between you and noticing something they had overlooked before. It was never only the dramatic memories that mattered. It was the little things, the comfort, the curiosity, the way your presence could remain in their mind long after a moment had ended. And suddenly they understood why making this final decision felt so important. They were not deciding whether you were worth remembering. They were deciding whether they were ready to stop being afraid of what this connection could become. Don't skip now, because this is where their next move starts taking shape. They are considering a way of showing you that their intentions have changed. They do not want another confusing signal or another moment that leaves you questioning what they meant. They want something clearer. Something that says, without unnecessary games, I have thought about this seriously. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is a possibility they have quietly imagined more than once, and it involves bringing you closer to the life they are building rather than keeping you outside of it. That is the revelation they were not ready to face before. Their thoughts about you are beginning to include tomorrow, not just yesterday. And when someone starts seeing you in the future they are planning, the entire meaning of their decision changes. But the deepest part has still been hidden beneath everything else. Your soulmate has realized that their next step cannot simply be about words. Eventually, those words must be supported by something real. That is why they have been thinking carefully instead of acting impulsively. They want whatever happens next to mean something. Don't skip, because the surprising truth is that they may be preparing to cross a boundary they created themselves, the boundary between secretly caring and openly showing it. For a long time, staying behind that boundary felt easier. Now it feels like the very thing preventing them from discovering what might be possible with you. Something huge is waiting for you, because their final decision has created a new question in their mind. What if this connection could become the beginning of the future I actually want? That question has changed everything. They are no longer only thinking about what they feel when you cross their mind. They are thinking about what they could build if those feelings were finally given a real chance. Stay till the end, because there is still one major truth behind their decision that has not surfaced yet. It explains why they became certain now, why their hesitation suddenly started fading, and why the next move they are considering could be far more meaningful than you ever expected. What your soulmate realized next completely changed the meaning of every quiet moment that came before. They finally understood that their hesitation was never because you meant too little, it was because this connection had started meaning far more than they expected. That realization brought them to a point where they could no longer pretend that waiting forever was the answer. Don't skip, because the next piece is where their final decision becomes something real. They have been privately imagining what it would feel like to finally remove the uncertainty between you, to speak with complete honesty, and to let you see the side of them they have kept protected for so long. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is one specific thought that keeps returning to them: what if I finally show this person that I am serious? And each time that question appears, their answer becomes clearer. They are tired of imagining possibilities without ever discovering whether those possibilities could become real. They are beginning to want something deeper than another temporary moment. They want to understand whether this connection can actually move forward, and the surprising part is that they may already be preparing themselves emotionally for the answer. Then came an even bigger shift. Your soulmate started thinking about what they would need to change within themselves if they truly wanted you to become part of their future. This is not only about saying beautiful words. They know words without consistency would mean very little. So their next move is beginning to take on a different shape, something thoughtful, intentional, and much clearer than anything they may have shown before. Don't skip here, because this is the revelation that separates a passing feeling from a serious decision. They are considering whether they can finally give this connection the effort they once held back. They have imagined showing up differently, communicating more openly, and allowing you to understand exactly what place you hold in their heart. Something huge is waiting for you, because they have also realized something about you that they cannot easily replace: the way this connection made them think differently about what they truly want. They may have encountered many people and many possibilities, but something about you created a question that remained unanswered. What would happen if I stopped resisting this? Now they are closer than ever to finding out. The person who once kept everything hidden may be approaching the moment when hiding it no longer makes sense. And now everything points toward the part of their decision they have been most careful about. Your soulmate does not simply want to return to an old pattern. If they move toward you, they want the next chapter to feel different from whatever uncertainty existed before. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and this is where the surprise becomes even stronger. They are beginning to picture a future where you know exactly how they feel instead of constantly wondering. They want to replace mixed signals with clarity and distance with genuine effort. Don't skip, because there is still one powerful reason behind this sudden certainty, and it has everything to do with something they recently understood about losing opportunities that truly matter. That realization made them look at you differently. It made them understand that meaningful connections cannot always be placed on hold while someone waits for perfect circumstances. Sometimes a decision has to be made. And your soulmate has made theirs. What comes next could be the first visible sign that everything happening quietly inside them has finally become strong enough to turn into action. But one revelation remains, and it could explain exactly why they believe now, not later, is the moment to change everything. Now the reason behind your soulmate's sudden certainty is beginning to reveal itself, and it is far more meaningful than anything they expected. Somewhere in the middle of all their thinking, they imagined one simple possibility. What if they waited so long that the opportunity to truly know where this connection could go simply passed them by? That thought stayed with them. It made them look differently at every memory, every unfinished conversation, and every feeling they had tried to place aside. Don't skip, because this is where their final decision becomes even clearer. They realized they did not want to look back someday and wonder why they remained silent when something inside them was asking for clarity. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that the perfect moment may never arrive on its own. Sometimes a meaningful moment has to be created. And that is exactly what they are thinking about now. They are considering how to approach you in a way that feels sincere, how to reveal what has changed inside them, and how to make sure you understand that this is not simply another passing emotion. The surprising part is that they are not only thinking about what they want to say. They are thinking about what they are willing to do differently afterward. That is where everything changes. Behind that realization is another truth they have barely admitted even to themselves: you have become connected to a version of the future they genuinely want. They have pictured ordinary moments, meaningful conversations, shared laughter, mutual understanding, and the feeling of having someone beside them who truly matters. Somehow, when those pictures form, your presence keeps appearing. Don't skip now, because the biggest shift is happening right here. Your soulmate once tried to understand you through the past, but now they are beginning to imagine you through the future. That is why their decision feels final. Something huge is waiting for you, because they have started asking questions they never allowed themselves to ask before. Could this connection become stable? Could the two of you understand each other more deeply if everything were finally spoken honestly? Could what seemed uncertain become something beautiful if both hearts were given room to be clear? Those questions are no longer frightening them in the same way. Instead, they are creating excitement about what could happen next. Stay till the end, because your soulmate is approaching one realization that could transform their entire next move. They do not want to impress you for one moment. They want you to notice a genuine change in how they show up. And this is where the once-in-a-lifetime revelation begins. The final decision was never simply, "I still care." It went deeper. Your soulmate decided that if they receive an opportunity to move this connection forward, they do not want to repeat the hesitation that kept everything uncertain before. They want to approach this differently, with more honesty, more consistency, and a clearer understanding of what they truly want. Don't skip, because their next move may be designed to answer a question you have carried for longer than you realize. Was this connection ever truly important to them? Their actions could finally give that answer. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is still one thought they have kept completely private, and it is the strongest thought of all. It is not about the past. It is not about regret. It is about a possibility they are finally ready to consider seriously, a future where the connection between you is no longer built on guessing, but on two people finally knowing where they stand. And once that hidden thought comes fully into the light, you may understand why your soulmate's next move could be the most surprising part of this entire story. A truth your soulmate has kept buried beneath every doubt is finally becoming impossible for them to ignore. They are not searching for another temporary moment with you, they are wondering what it would take to create something that actually lasts. This is the hidden thought they were almost afraid to examine, because once they admitted it, everything became more serious. Don't skip, because their final decision has now crossed beyond feelings and entered the territory of intention. They have begun imagining what would happen if they stopped protecting themselves with silence and finally allowed you to understand what has been happening inside them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has been thinking about the difference between simply wanting someone and intentionally choosing them, and that difference has completely changed their perspective. They know that choosing a meaningful connection requires more than emotion. It requires presence. It requires honesty. It requires showing up when it matters. And surprisingly, instead of making them pull away, that realization has made them more certain. They are beginning to understand that what they want from you cannot be discovered from a distance forever. At some point, something has to change. At some point, the unanswered questions have to become a real conversation. And your soulmate may finally be approaching that moment. But there is another layer that makes their next move even more surprising. They have started imagining how you might respond if they suddenly became completely honest. Would you believe them? Would you understand why it took them so long? Would you recognize how much thought went into this decision? Those questions have been running through their mind, but one realization keeps overpowering every doubt: they would rather discover the truth than spend another chapter wondering what might have happened. Don't skip now, because this is where the energy changes completely. Your soulmate is no longer focused only on protecting themselves from uncertainty. They are thinking about what they could gain by finally stepping beyond it. Something huge is waiting for you, because they have also recognized that their next move must be different enough for you to notice. They do not want to give you another puzzle to solve. They want their intentions to become clearer through the way they communicate and the effort they are willing to make. Stay till the end, because the biggest surprise is still underneath all of this. There is something they have imagined saying to you that would reveal exactly how deeply their perspective has changed. It is something simple, but its meaning could completely transform the way you understand this connection. And when that imagined moment plays inside their mind, your soulmate sees themselves finally admitting what they once avoided: that meeting you changed something within them. You made them reconsider what kind of connection they truly want, what kind of person they want beside them, and what they should stop taking for granted. Don't skip, because this is where everything you have heard begins connecting together. Their final decision was not created by one emotional moment. It came from repeatedly reaching the same conclusion: they do not want uncertainty to make this choice for them anymore. They want to make the choice themselves. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The next step they are considering could finally turn all those private thoughts into something visible, and once that happens, there may be no need to keep wondering where they stand. Yet one final revelation remains hidden: the exact thing about you that made them realize this connection was different from every ordinary connection they had known before. That realization is the reason their decision became so strong, and when it finally comes forward, it could explain why they are suddenly willing to do what they once kept postponing.